think about these as some kind of benchmarks. And Industry 4.0 work points not affecting manufacturing or particular this production industry, but it's also affecting service industry, banking, finance, telecommunication, even academic institutions. So how kind of you manage them and improve their working conditions? The ergonomic approaches are very important. I do a lot of research on that, particularly on, for example, how lighting and all the sitting arrangements you design for workers, for even office workers. I used to be an industrial engineer some time ago, so this is also kind of my area. Data protection is a very important issue. Co-determination is a kind of German way of employing, for example, getting union. All German public companies have a union member in the board of directors. So I think that is a good example. So we can also, actually I'm trying to talk to some government policymakers for many years. We even organize some visit to Germany, how to use co-determination from Sri Lankan point of view. Social protection of self-employed persons. Now, for us, people who are working in co-worker space or startups in so-called gig economy are still like self-employed. Now, what about the insurance? What about their protection? So this is also a discussion we should have here. Now, this should be done not as a top from bottom. I think Bob answered the question yesterday. Top to bottom approach is not going to work on particular that kind of large-scale change management program. So you have to have a consultative, broad consultative process to adapt, particularly because Sri Lanka is a social democratic country. So we definitely need to discuss about so-called welfare and things like without just giving them up. So we need to have a broad consultation with all the stakeholders. Now, now this is a graph by World Economics showing how industries are going to affect from different Industry 4.0, fourth industrial technologies. You can see big data is like a big thing, AI, Internet of Things, machine learning, cloud computing, all are like going to affect our industries, including 3D printing and quantum computing to different level. Now, so these are jobs which are going to be affected negatively and which are stable and new jobs. Now, the good news here is, unlike Suren predicted, according to World Economic Forum, HR is going to be a stable job. However, there are new roles, maybe automation specialists. But you have to be alert that a lot of jobs are going to be redundant, clerks, tax consultation, and telemarketers, things like that. Now, as a part of that, you will need different declining and trending skills. Now, this is also a way that you should look at education. What are going to be like most demanded, for example, critical thinking. I was just talking to Medita about design thinking. Do you have design thinking in your HR qualification? I think I still got the idea that it's not negative, but I strongly think that things like design thinking, system engineering should be widespread among all professionals as ways of getting new skills required in the global workplace. Okay, so how we should prepare for Industry 4.0 and particularly Work 4.0 here? We need to collaborate between companies, governments, and unions particularly, and role of professional bodies like CIPM and universities should be very prominent as maybe even people who trigger these changes or discussions. We need to learn from best practices because there are a lot of global examples and experiences of handling, like I said, Europe, Germany, maybe United States, and even India has, I think, broader debate on this. Continuous public discussion is very much important of adapting, even rejecting, and even how to take them as a challenge. Okay, so I just laid down some of the challenges faced by HR professionals, but again, you are like the experts here, but these are some of the challenges you have to face immediately as HR professionals in managing Work 4.0. So I'm not going to read them. Now, in personal capacity, I'm trying to kind of expose people. Now, this is some of executive MBA class. I took them to Germany. I think they are the first Sri Lankan group from a university to visit Industry 4.0 in practice in Germany. We had some classes as well as visit to a factory where industry, this is called Festo. I'm sure some of you already know. It's already, they have implemented Industry 4.0 practices. So I think they should be more, I'm organizing more visit to other places like Porsche or Mercedes-Benz. So if your organization also visit, we can help you, because I'm trying to take many people from here to get that experience. And I'm sure these guys are, even though they're executive MBAs, they are already CEOs and senior managers, so from different industries. So they will come and implement some of these learnings here. Okay, next thing is, I'm going to post this as a kind of case study for you to think about how robotics are going to take your jobs, and then how we are going to face it as HR professionals. It's like a 9-minute video, but I hope you have patience to watch that.
Some economists say the world is entering a second machine age. Artificial intelligence and other advancements enabling robots to do tasks that until now only human eyes, minds, and hands could handle. For this episode of Moving Upstream, we traveled through Asia to meet the next generation of industrial robots, where robots are making robots.
Well, they're making love to these robots. Keep making babies.
Yes, right.
To see how they're changing manufacturing and whether they're sealing the fate of low-skilled workers. Every other year, Tokyo plays host to the world's largest robotics trade show, IREX. It's no coincidence the show is in Asia. Here, robots are being bought and sold in numbers unrivaled anywhere else in the world. These are the types of robots Professor Erik Brynjolfsson is keeping an eye on as MIT's chief scholar on the digital economy.
We used to have to really painstakingly teach the machines step by step, program them what to do, and now machine learning is enabling the machines to figure out on their own how to solve problems. You put together the algorithms, the data, and the computer chips, and you get sometimes a million-fold improvement in the performance of these systems.
A million-fold improvement?
Yeah.
And what does that allow you to do?
So one really important thing to do on the factory floor is just be able to recognize objects, and that's something that only humans could do well until recently.
At IREX, we witnessed a robot handling a task that I, as a human, don't do so well, futzing with one of those pesky tape dispensers. It's among the latest offerings from Yaskawa, one of the world's largest manufacturers of industrial robots. Its main sellers are large industrial robots that do dangerous things like welding car parts. We visit one of Yaskawa's robot manufacturing facilities in the southern port city of Kitakyushu. Here, the public can try controlling and racing against AI-enhanced robot arms.
You're done.
We got to see where the robots are made.
The robots themselves, they're sealed off by these plastic barriers. The workers aren't allowed to be in there while they're in operation because they're making these very fast movements.
The head of the robotics division at Yaskawa, Masahiro Ogawa, seems most excited to talk about robots that don't need to be walled off from humans, that work alongside employees. In the industry, they're called cobots. The International Federation of Robots predicts in coming years, cobots will lead the robotics industry. That's partially what's driving startups like China-based Elephant Robotics to get in the game.
Heated people, so it will just stop.
Yeah.
So work with people.
Yeah, works with people.
Yeah.
We asked their founder, Ju-Yi Song, how his cobot is different from traditional robot arms.
It moves not that quick, and it is very, very light.
Okay.
So it can work with people. So this is the most important thing.
In addition to being safer, the collaboration proves to be more productive. A study conducted by MIT researchers found that human-machine groups were more efficient than teams wholly comprised of one or the other. They also reduced human idle time by 85%. While traveling through Japan, we visited Huistenbosch, a Holland-themed amusement park. There we checked out its latest attraction, a robot restaurant.
How many okonomiyaki pancakes can the robot make in an hour?
今のロボットで焼ける枚数っていうのは1時間でだいたい5、6枚ぐらいだと思います。まだまだそんなに早くない。でもそれだけ丁寧に作ってますから。
My colleague Matt McDonald, after getting a robot mixed cocktail,
Kanpai.
tried the robot chef's signature dish.
特に日本ではどんどん少子高齢化で、特に若い人たちの人口がこれからどんどん減っていく、これがもう目に見えて迫っている状況ですから、じゃあいかに効率的にこのレストランのオペレーションができるのか、いかに少ない人手で。
It's gimmicky by design. Back at Yasukawa, Ogawa tells us most of the customers who come to him looking for new automation solutions come from China.
China market huge and the growth ratio very high.
How high? Last year, Chinese demand for robots grew more than 20%. One reason for that is China's working population is aging. By 2060, the average Chinese citizen is projected to be 50 years old. To see the impact of industrial robots on manufacturing in China, we traveled to an area that's considered the electronics capital of the world, the Pearl River Delta region. Headquartered there is Rappu, China's largest keyboard and mice manufacturer. We asked the CEO why his company is making the move towards robotics.
Because in China have a rapid salary increase beginning from 2008. So we feel the little pressure from the labor side. So we decided to change a lot our manufacturing system to robot.
Wages for the average urban employee in China have more than doubled since 2008. Rappu, he says, in the past few years, used robotics to reduce its factory workforce from 2,500 people to now 1,000, and more automation is on the way.
So you're bringing more robots in.
Yeah, and then make even the logistics we use a robot.
You seem very happy about this.
Yeah, because it will make my company more competitive in the field.
And you're not worried when you lay off those 700 workers?
No, they can easily get jobs, no problem.
China's unemployment rate is 4.6%, pretty low. And the Chinese government says it's even lower in urban areas.
Most of them are getting jobs. They're not having to go back to the farm.
They cannot go back. And
They
right now,
can't go back?
No, but they can go back, but for them it's no meaning to go back because they will easily find another job because China is growing very fast.
When we talk to CEOs in China, do you think they're being forthright? Do you think they're being accurate?
Broadly, I think they are. I think that there are going to be lots and lots of jobs that are automated, millions, hundreds of millions of jobs that won't be needed because robots will do them. But there's no shortage of work that only humans can do.
Indeed, in China, the category of jobs that are growing fastest are in the service sector.
Is there any resistance from workers to putting these new robots in?
No, because they have no choice.
Your plant that you oversee has already been automated 80%, you said. Do you see it going the rest of that 20%?
Li Zhandu, a worker at the Rappu factory, has watched as robots have replaced his colleagues.
How far off do you think we are from full automation?
我觉得应该3、5年应该可以吧。
So nobody left working in your department?
这个要根据公司来决定这个东西。然后具体的话还是看公司层面。
Chinese delivery company JD is showing how automation is advancing in other industries, like logistics. There are still some employees here, but not at a JD sorting center near Shanghai. It's taking nearly all humans out of this process. And this is the same company that last year began making drone deliveries.
This is a moment of choice and opportunity. It could be the best 10 years ahead of us that we've ever had in human history, or one of the worst, because we have more power than we've ever had before. The tools by themselves are not going to lift up the billions of people who are being left behind. Those are conscious choices we have to make as a society and as individuals.
In just 6 years, worldwide sales of industrial robots have risen more than 140%. What do you think about robots taking on more work? We look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.
In the video, second, Machine Age, which is very useful book, and also 2 books by Professor Klaus of World Economic Forum. These are like the Bibles of fourth industrial revolution. So I strongly recommend, since CIPM is here, I will request them to have them in, at least in the library. Okay, so before you ask questions, my final question to you, what is the role of HR in adopting Work 4.0 or future of work in Sri Lankan context? What are the challenges, what are the opportunities as you think relevant, how you should adapt your curriculum, your way of work, your organization, or anything else? So that is it from my side. If you want to, so we open for the discussion now. Yeah, so this is my contact details, and you are welcome to communicate to me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Udaya Ratnayaka has asked a question. I would appreciate if you can throw in some questions from the app. The first question is, Sri Lanka's education system should be changed or updated in order to get ready with new generation to work with Work 4.0. Your views on it, sir.
Which system?
The Work 4.0.
Sri Lanka education. Definitely, yeah, that is actually one of my influencing area, because I have been teaching for more than now 12 years. So I show, for example, how 3D printer works. I use design thinking. Sorry, this is all in the university level. So I actually teach only the postgraduate level, but after we started this 3D printing fab lab, we now teach also, we go to schools, we show them, for example, in 3 schools in Kurunegala district, that is Vikramashila, Pandala, and Sadalanka Central. We demonstrated, I think these guys are the first school kids to experience 3D printing. We actually did by intentionally out of Colombo. So yes, of course, and also we are in consultation with Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Industrial Development Board, and also we also give suggestion to political manifesto to introduce this as a part of the curriculum. So definitely it should change. I am kind of a, let's say, a success story of Sri Lankan education system, but I'm not happy about the overall the final output. For example, Germany or even Pakistan taught me more effective things which is applicable today, but I would say what we have in the school level is great, so you can easily do the intervention. Okay, how can, it's a long discussion, but basically it's a way of working together, testing new ideas, and there are a lot of other things. If I give another opportunity, I'll talk about design thinking in a different session. But we actually have done some sessions, so those are online on YouTube. You can search my name and you can get those sessions. This guy is always asking same question, same person or different people? Anonymous. Oh, anybody can be anonymous, right? Okay, so, okay, so. No, for example, now any industrial revolution is like merciless, right? So they won't wait till you get ready, or it's because humans are affecting. So it's our choice. As Professor Eric mentioned, we have a social choice as well as individual choice. So now I have seen a picture when I was doing this topic in New York City in 1909, in the New York City main street, there are a lot of horse carriages, no cars, or one car or something. After 10 or 8 years, the street is full of automobiles, no horses. So the picture says, detect the horse. So same thing will happen to us. So that is why now I know, I think compared to Suren, I'm more knowledge about Sri Lankan condition. We are like sleeping giants. We don't know our power. So we are relaxed and we enjoy, life because we can still, work with the whole system. But if you don't change, somebody, I don't know, Maldives, that's a gentleman, I don't know, Bangladesh has already passed us in some dimension. So we have to wake up and based on our existing skills we have, the capacities we have, and rethink and do it in a more radical, reinvented way. Yeah, so definitely laws are not geared. All the laws we have, I said, as part of second industrial revolution laws, definitely we have to change the rules, but laws, we can always kind of bend the laws, right? So now that's what we are trying to do. We work, like for example, how to register social enterprise. There's no concept of social enterprise in legal definition. So what we did was, we could have gone for a social services to register as a non-government organization, or companies register to have a guaranteed limit. So it's a non-guaranteed limited, but it's a social enterprise. What other step can we take to move the team from daily operation towards? Now I think Suren already answered that. Now this concept of fab or lab, so if you can have a lab in a corner, or if you can replicate that, now our objective is to have fab labs all over the country. So that was one of our mission in our business plan. So we started with one. So we want to demonstrate so-called labs, can be in your organization, can be in the universities, can be in schools, where people will come and together and they experiment, and they will get out of the fear of failing and fear of not being successful. So they can duplicate anything, they can do in small scale, and such kind of demonstration will work in large scale operations. In near future, what jobs? I think I showed in a graph. This is also applicable to Sri Lankan context, particularly clerks, all these, telemarketing guys, even tax consultation. A lot of things can be done. Not only fourth industrial revolution, but also even existing third industrial revolution technologies. There are a lot of questions, huh? Maybe we can talk some of them later. Actually, I still have some time. Answer your questions about all era of under. My simple answer is HR will be the creator of the industry, and there is a better time in the industry. Yeah, I agree. Now I think we need people like Dhammika who take as a confrontational approach and then try to solve. I think congratulations. Harendra, Sri Lanka is a very employee-centered employee. Now, actually, when we say Sri Lanka is like that and this, I actually mostly I disagree, because we don't know who we are, because we are very comfortable of agreeing. But we have to disagree and see, look around. For example, now manufacturing, our manufacturing at the moment is less than 30% the contribution to GDP. But when Vijay Prince came, in Kuwait he was doing some stretching or something. So we had a manufacturing heritage, and let's say our grandmothers used to sew this, I don't know how to call it, mahung or something, hand looms. But we kind of started now going to House of Fashions and all these textile places and buy our own ready-made garment. So it's a matter of reinventing or regaining our heritage. That is something very important, and I think it's easy. So now all of normal questions people ask from me is, we are like that, so how can we change? No, we try. We have tried, and we have not been successful, but we are keep on trying. So change is inevitable, and therefore we have to face it. Yeah. Okay. That's the last question. So for example, now my approach has been always demonstrate myself. Now, how many of you had a mobile phone in 1993? Can you raise your hand? Oh, that's great. Okay. Okay. So for example, I used mobile phone in 1993, 94 at Peradini Engineering Faculty. I was the first student to use it. Only I had it, and my vice chancellor, who was like given by Golding that time. So then it's not only about using the phone, but I had to justify all these guys who are like unions and everybody, why I use a phone. They said, you are a capitalist CIA agent, and phones are for the business people. So it's not only about using. So I had to debate. I had to kind of justify myself. So that then, now I think I'm sure only few people may not have phones. Maybe if it's less than, there we are about 90% penetration. Same with social media. When social media came in 2008, I started teaching in the MBA program. I kind of introduced social media to MBA programs in Sri Lankan country, and there's even my lecturers laugh at me, saying that this is children stuff and it's really useless at the MBA level. And now,